Hey y'all, welcome to The Real Value, where we recap, review, rate, and evaluate all things real, all things watched. I'm Cal, your horror pal, and today we're going to talk about The Long Walk. The Long Walk is a 2025 American dystopian survival thriller film. Say that 5 times fast. Co-produced and directed by Francis Lawrence. Lawrence made his directorial debut all the way back in 2005 with Constantine starring Keanu. Love that flick. So excited about Constantine 2. Hope it stays true to the original. Anywho, this movie is based on the 1979 novel of the same name by Stephen King under his pseudonym at the time, Richard Bachman. The film stars Cooper Hoffman and David Johnston, whom I officially love after watching his performance in this movie. There's something about him that really stands out on screen. As I was watching the flick, I was like, I know this guy is from something else, but I couldn't put my finger on it. Well, lo and behold, he starred in the very first movie this channel reviewed all the way back last August, Alien Romulus. Yeah, he played Andy. I loved him in that, and I love him in this too. Also starring in the movie are Mark Hamill and Judy Greer, along with several other minor cast members. So, if you've been living under a rock, the premise of the movie is that America is now pretty much ruled by this totalitarian regime. It's not clear if Mark Hamill's character is the head honcho, but he's definitely a head honcho, going by the Major in the film. The regime holds this annual contest known as the Long Walk, where teenage participants, known as walkers, so clever there, must maintain a speed of at least 3 miles per hour or risk execution if they slow down. The walkers receive 3 warnings before being executed, but can have 1 warning removed for walking 1 hour without another warning. The contest ends when 1 last walker remains alive, which they receive a grand cash prize and 1 wish, allowing them to get whatever they want. Okay, so setting aside the somewhat absurd notion that, in the film at least, this long walk is supposed to encourage pride and hope in the now broken US of A, there's still a lot of I don't think it works that way moments in this film. I mean, at one point, they've been walking for 4 days straight. I think that's somewhat physically impossible. I could be wrong, but delirium would definitely be setting in. And the film somewhat touches on this, but nowhere near to the extent I think it should have. I don't know. But it was all very Hunger Games meets The Purge, albeit this was written far before either of those 2 movies, so kudos to Stephen King. You win again. I mean, how many books have you turned into miniseries or movies now? Jesus, Muhammad, Christos. Anywho, I actually liked the flick. It was well shot, and the relationships it built between the characters in such a short amount of time felt real and fulfilling. I thought the acting was good, especially from David Johnston, as I mentioned before. I will say I didn't ever feel bored watching this movie. It had my attention the entire runtime, or walk time, which was 108 minutes. And that's kind of long for a movie where they all just kind of like, you know, walk. Now, after saying that, let me go ahead and give you my rating for the movie, and then we'll dive a little bit deeper into how I felt overall. So, The Long Walk was real good. 1 scaredy cow for the atmosphere and some of the more bloody and shitty parts, but it's not really the jump scare, crazy ghost monster type of flick. Again, think Hunger Games meets The Purge. Now, I would have given this flick a rating of a real great. However, the ending happened, and I was immediately like, boo! I was not a fan of the ending. No spoilers, but let me just say, nuh-uh, that's not what was supposed to happen. I don't mean in terms of the book. I haven't read the book, but okay, spoilers start now. So you mean to tell me that after all of that, after all the relationship building between Ray's character and McFree's character, that after the entire walk and talk and walk, that McFree does what Ray ultimately chose him to be the winner because Ray knew he wouldn't do what he was gonna do, which was not do what Ray wanted to do, which was kill the Major? Do you see what I'm saying here? Like, it's all ridiculous. Like, he shouldn't have done that. That's not what Ray chose him to be the winner for. Like, Ray sacrificed himself because he knew that McFreeze would turn to love. That was supposed to be the whole purpose of the movie, right? Like, choose love over hate. So he ends up shooting the Major, killing him dead right then and there, which I'm sure everyone had a gun on him at the time. Like, it's just ridiculous how he was just able to get away with that. I call BS on that moment. And then he just walks off into the rain at the end. I don't know. The ending, total crap. The rest of the movie, great, awesome, glorious. Not glorious, but great. But overall, real good because that ending was just crap, man. It could have been wrapped up and dealt with in a better way, I feel. He ends up shooting the Major in the name of Ray. I just thought it was a cop-out, kind of ridiculous. That's how I felt about the ending. That's how I felt about the movie. Tell me if you agree in the comments below. That's it for me today, folks. Remember to be nice to each other out there, and if you can't do that, at least don't be a dick. Peace. Ba-ba. Ba-ba.